All right, hello and welcome to day 2 of the 2019 NAB Show. I'm here at PTZ Optics booth C3326, but today we are partnering with LiveU again, StreamGeeks LiveU mashup, to bring you the best and brightest of NAB 2019. Yesterday we had a great time talking about sports at the Esports Pavilion, and we ended things up at LiveU's booth with Felipe Laurent, CEO of Easy Live Cloud-Based Streaming. Today we're talking all about House of Worship. Really a huge space in the broadcasting world, and we're seeing it grow by the year, by the day, by the month, by the hour. It's really expansive. Today we're going to be starting off at vMix booth with a special interview with Tom Sinclair of Streaming Idiots and Eastern Shore Broadcasting. We're going to be talking about the evolution of streaming House of Worship. We're also going to be talking about a funny little story on how vMix got its own start, and it might just relate to House of Worship. We're going to close things off in the field at LiveU's booth in South Hall Upper with a special interview with EasyWorship. So we're going to cut things over to Paul, who is in the field, IRL streaming with the LiveU solo, whenever we're ready. Okay. So we're just going to need another minute over here to get things configured and switch over to Paul in the field. He is in South Hall Lower if you want to visit vMix booth while you're here. He's going to be talking with Tom Sinclair. If you're at the show, make sure you stop by and say hi. Then we're going to be headed over to LiveU's booth. We're using right now the LiveU LU600 to stream this, and this is how we're able to switch over between an in the field stream back to the studio. We are using
19 show, and I am here with Tom Sinclair.
Paul, it's good to see you. Glad to have you.
Good to see you too. Today's show for the LiveU is all about houses of worship.
Yes.
And we're talking about how so many churches are achieving such great connectivity and community engagement with live streaming on both Facebook and YouTube. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about your experience with churches and helping them with their technology, what you're seeing out there. Of course, we're at the vMix booth, and we talk a little bit about that as well.
Sure. Well, vMix is the glue, I think, that holds it all together. It's the switcher, it's the streamer, it's the recorder, it's everything, and we can talk about vMix more specifically. But I think the technology of live streaming is absolutely divinely ordained. I think that we didn't create this. I think we discovered this. It was set out there in our path for us to discover it when technology-wise, we had the tools to discover it. And so now every church has the ability to take their message, whatever flavor it might be, some vanilla, some chocolate, some strawberry, that's okay, and send that to the corners of the earth instantly. I have a little church in Fairhope, Alabama. We have about 35 people attend physically on a Sunday morning. Some weeks, by the end of the week, we will have had 130, 150 people watch the sermon message from that service. 35, 150. I mean, the word gets out. Now, obviously 35 people is not a mega church, right? So, but you think about a mega church that might not have 35 people, but 3,500 people. That means they're having 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 views of that message. And it doesn't all have to be evangelism. It doesn't all have to be to bring Christianity to somebody that doesn't know about it. But it can be to bolster folks. I mean, we have people that watch our live stream that just don't have a home church. And so this is where they get fed on a regular basis. Technology has stepped in where they couldn't make that human connection. I hope they'll make the human connection, but until they do, there's something there to keep the word going into. I am so, I was going to say the F word, but that wouldn't be appropriate. But I'm so blasted excited about this technology. It's perfect. What question did you ask me?
Well, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your business because I know that you build custom computers.
Yes.
And we've actually worked with vMix to actually give away a custom live streaming computer for some church to win next Friday.
I just finished up that computer last week. It's waiting for you back in in Westchester.
I can't wait to open it up.
It is going to be a screamer. Oh my goodness. Now, the vMix guys, they bought all the parts. They didn't ship them from Australia. They had them sent, I guess it was Amazon.
Oh, sorry.
It's like, demo, to heck with the live feed. We'll just do a demo instead. And we built this little thing. It is going to be absolutely amazing. You know, you pair it with vMix, which of course is the glue. You pair it with a set of eyeballs, which is going to be the PTZ Optics cameras, and audio, and I think we have to put a capture card in there.
Yeah.
But it is for some church that's not doing streaming or is doing, you know, whatever they could cobble together. This is going to be an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
Absolute game changer.
So Tom built this custom
enter?
computer. There's still time at ptzoptics.com/giveaway. This is just for churches in the United States of America.
I thought that was like churchgiveaway.com.
I think churchgiveaway.com will get you there too.
Yeah.
So check it out. You have to submit a video about why your church should be live streaming,
Yes.
or how it would improve your church's outreach, message, and communication. Tom and I, and Tim from vMix, and Daryl from Mage Wells, all the sponsors of this giveaway are going to review these and choose a winner.
Yes.
So we hope that your church is chosen, because it's going to really be a game changer for the way that you can communicate with your audience.
Well, the other thing is that you're not just being dumped with this equipment. I'm going to be there to support you, to teach you how to use it, to help you when you have questions, so that it can be not just another relic sitting on the shelf, but something that really is going to be able to make a difference in what you're doing. We'll gear it up so that volunteers can operate it. You know, it's not our first rodeo in doing this kind of stuff. It's going to be, whoever gets it's going to be a lot of fun. And whoever doesn't get it, if you need us to do the same thing for you in a paid situation, we can do that. And we can scale it back and make it more affordable and add to it later. There are lots of ways to work that out. The key is the right camera, the right software, the major capture card, and of course the right person to bundle it all together.
So we today are going to be going to the LiveU booth, where we're going to interview Jared Harris from EasyWorship.
Oh, can I go?
You can come if you'd like. I know you have responsibilities here. Is there anything at the vMix booth that you'd like to show us before we head up to? I know it's crowded. I mean, you can't even move around here.
Well, I want to show you that there's like 1,000 people here, and I got to get back to work.
Nothing. I'm just recording.
Never mind. It just turns on the camera, whatever it was. Yeah, I mean, the place is packed. Everybody wants to know about vMix. They want to know what the latest, greatest thing is. They've heard about vMix. They've seen us on the lanyard. You know, they want to know what's going on. It's a blast. You know, I'm so fortunate to have Martin and Tim from vMix ask me to come represent them here every year as a vMix reseller for them. And thank you for taking time to come down.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh, are you kidding? This is a treat.
So we're going to take you guys up to LiveU now, and we're going to continue the interview. So thanks so much, Tom.
Bye, guys.
Take care. All right, here we go. Listen, keep it recording so we can have time lapse. All right, here we go. Did it turn off automatically?
No, it's this.
Oh. All right, here we go. So, we're in South Lower right now. I'm going to take you guys up. Look at this. Never seen it this busy. So much busier than Central. We're going to go up that escalator.
It's supposed to be 100 yen.
And we'll go. So the LiveU booth is upstairs, and I hope that they are streaming. Now we have made it, and we'll go from there. So LiveU is LiveU is somewhere in Central Hall. I actually don't know where it is. It's next to the Avid booth. So you see the Avid, you know where it is. I'm talking to my camera operator.
Hello.
We'll find it.
Nowhere near Avid.
Cisco. This way?
That way.
I see it. This is so packed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're using our LiveU Solo right now. I checked the bit rate. We're at about 10 megabits per second. And if I keep looking this way, I'm going to crash. I'm going to keep my eyes focused. Just look at all these booths. It's crazy. Almost there.
I was just talking to them. I might want to hop in at the end, and we can just talk a little bit. Like this is something we cut over to James. We have the little solo that's powering this, and he can talk about he's never used D2C cameras before, and so it was Saturday. Yeah, Sunday during set it was the first time he saw the controller.
Wow.
And he was a little nervous because he has to kind of do it all himself. And we've got all these, and it was like, he was like so psyched about being able to do the presets and everything. And now he's getting all fancy with it. Yeah. So I thought that might be kind of fun at the end to do. And for you guys now too. But anyway.
So we just interviewed Tom Sinclair about House of Worship. So we were downstairs in South Lower. Yeah. We made our way up to South Upper. And now we're in the cloud. We're going to switch to the studio, which is being powered by the LiveU Solo. And right now the video is coming from another LiveU Solo. And it's like at 9 kilobits, or 9,000.
I was going to say, 9 kilobits.
9 megabits.
Yeah.
And it's
well, that's awesome.
Well.
And you're using 2 connections, or you have 3? 3. Yeah, okay, that's good, yeah. We, it's always funny to me when we have all this 4K technology and all this stuff, and our own studio we're using Solo to go.
I know,
but yeah, so we're doing it as like a fixed encoder. Everyone knows about being able to roam around. But the beauty part is even as a fixed, we have a hardline connection here with our internet access. The LRT encoding actually is what actually makes sure that it still looks fantastic. People forget that you actually have a really awesome fixed encoder in your back pocket too.
We have the LU600 at our booth, which so basically right now, so Tess started the show with the LU600 powering it from our studio.
Yeah.
Then we roamed over here with our Solo. So literally everything that you're seing, all 3 studios are all being powered by LiveU.
That's right. Yes, I like to hear that. It's definitely better than a $50,000 internet bill.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So I might hop in at the end.
Okay.
After you guys are done.
Is anyone switching microphones on?
Yeah. James can come over and help you with that. I do want to just check our speakers so when people sitting here will be able to hear you because I want to make sure we're on.
All right.
So let me do that.
Ben, where do you want me to sit?
You're hosting? In the host chair.
All right.
Non-hosting.
Yeah,
That would be this chair.
Put it on your right. Your right. On your right. Like on your right thing, yeah.
It technically gives you less. Let's get it. Good.
Woohoo! Here we go. Hi, Joyce. How are you? I'll say this is a lot busier than Central.
Really? So you might have to make a move south.
I know we already picked it up for Central.
For Central next year already? I'm sure you can.
I might get a...
It's busier. Somebody else said Central was slow yesterday.
It's definitely busy here. Definitely busy here.
It's because we're here. That's the top.
Keep talking a little bit, guys. I want to hear all about No, it is nice. Give her a ring.
Yeah, this is the big switch. Do you mind having an interview and all of a sudden now I'm here on the stage in front of everybody? I just remember getting emailed.
And is he hiding us with that love?
Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Oh, my volume sound fine.
So we start on the mobile stream or do we cut to the live stream?
Trade show.
Testing 1, 2.
Setting up a trade show. You can enter into doing everything. Talk again.
Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
These are perfect. Is that a little bit? Not these. These are perfect.
So, live from the LiveU studio. Basically the House of Worship live streaming market in general. I'd like to ask you about the WFX show.
Okay.
I'll ask you about the WFX show.
Okay.
And then I wanted to talk a little bit about definitely WFX a little bit.
Okay, about the NDI and the cameras and stuff like that.
NDI,
okay.
the cameras.
Sounds good.
The book maybe a little bit.
Okay.
The book.
You'll lead with that, I'm
I
assuming.
want to lead with just who you are, asking you a little bit about
Personally or company-wise?
company, I think.
Okay, that's
like
fine.
Who is EasyWorship?
Okay, that's, yeah,
How
I'm
long have you
prepared.
been
Yeah.
with them?
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Sounds like we wing it.
Yeah.
You wing it, I'll follow.
So.
About how long is this?
We're from them now? All right. It looks like we're ready to rock and roll. Just tell me when, guys, and we'll get started.
I'm anxious to see what picture they found of me.
I know.
I just know, tell them what. So it works. It works. I could have provided you guys one if you would have just asked for one.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to our StreamGeeks takeover of the LiveU stream. And today we're talking about House of Worship live streaming. And there's a lot I want to talk about, but first I want to introduce everybody to Jared Harris from EasyWorship. Jared, can you tell me a little bit about EasyWorship, because you guys really your whole company is focused on the church market.
Absolutely, absolutely. And first off, Paul, thanks for having me here. EasyWorship is a worship presentation software that's designed specifically for churches to control the content that's projected to their main screens on stage. Content such as background media, images, camera feeds such as what PTZ offers, or text such as scriptures or song lyrics or lower thirds that can be sent on downstream to other systems.
Yeah, I've been so impressed what I've learned using EasyWorship. We met at WFX Show, which is the world's largest house of worship dedicated technology show. It was in Orlando last year. I'll be in Orlando again. We bumped into each other, and your big thing was introducing the NDI functionality inside EasyWorship. Can you tell me what that's been like and what houses of worship are using it for?
Well, what's interesting is when we went to the show, there really wasn't anybody taking advantage of the ability to send an NDI output into software like ourselves. As far as I know, we're the only church presentation software that supports NDI in. And so when Paul and PTZ came by the booth, we started talking about it, and it was like the lights came on. And that PTZ could put their signal out based on NDI, and we could receive it, and on top of that, add lyrics, lower thirds, and so forth, to allow churches to have a full broadcast quality output on their displays. So it was really interesting to see the two of that come together to provide a final output.
So, and you know what? We jumped right into the NDI functionality because I'm excited about that. But let's take a step back.
Okay.
So EasyWorship is a presentation software. Why is it so important for houses of worship to make high quality presentations? And where are they making these presentations? I know a lot of churches have projectors, a lot of churches have monitors in the lobby, cry rooms, different areas around the campus. Tell me about just what type of presentations are churches making?
Well, first off, if you think about it, as far as broadcasts go, there's probably more churches doing broadcasts per week than any other market out there. You have news stations and you have other venues and concerts and so forth, but every week, at least 2 times a week, a church is doing an event and using the technology that you see, such as at NAB. But the challenge really isn't a church, it is a volunteer-based and people running the system. So you have to keep a system or a software easy to use. So our goal was to allow churches to build these presentations that consisted of things that they would use every day, which is scriptures and song lyrics and so forth. So they could build this service inside EasyWorship to go live with and have a volunteer run it that Sunday or that Wednesday evening.
Yeah, because I've used EasyWorship and I understand how you have scripture from the Bible available in multiple translations, and there's a whole directory, and so there's just a lot in there from a presentation perspective. Pastors are creating presentations of the weekly service to support their message, and it's a great way for, I think, because pastors have to get up in front of everyone every Sunday, and they have to remind everybody about what donation programs are they having, what programs the school is doing, the nursery, and if there's new members, they got to kind of bring them up to speed. This is their 1 hour to do that. So that presentation is really important.
Yes,
and that's
absolutely.
It's really like the keystone of a lot of the technology, because that presentation is really like the heartbeat of the agenda.
It's the program flow for the whole event. And then you touched on some of the things like announcements and so forth. Well, in EasyWorship, you could create a presentation and save it with your announcements that are just playing and cycling through before your service. So, there's multiple variations of ways that you can use EasyWorship in that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because as we kind of shift into the live streaming aspect of it, one thing I've seen a lot of churches do is they start a live stream of their Sunday service, and they realize that a lot of the people watching the live stream aren't members yet.
Yes.
Right? They're viewing into the church, and they're seeing if they want to walk through the doors. And so what a great strategy a lot of pastors have been doing is playing that PowerPoint presentation on a loop in the beginning before the service starts, so that people can get an idea of what type of Christian values do they possibly have, what makes this church different than another, what programs do they have, and then it really just kind of sets the stage so that when the pastor gets on, he doesn't have to do all this back work of explaining what the church is about, and the viewers kind of have a better idea of the place in which they're seeing live.
Via the live stream.
And
what you touched on is actually an interesting topic in itself, is that churches nowadays are live streaming more than ever, because the younger generation, they are more likely to take advantage of the technologies of being able to watch multiple services or an individual service that's not available in their area. So they can watch it online via a live stream. And with EasyWorship, using other software such as vMix or any other live streaming software, you can send a signal outside of EasyWorship with the presentation such as you're discussing there of announcements, or the combination of camera feeds going into it and us overlaying lower thirds with text on top of that. or the final output that's sent to the internet for consumers to consume.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about. So you've built this software, EasyWorship, to make the presentations great, but there's some advanced features that churches are using I think we should dig into, such as displaying lyrics to the scripture and the songs during a musical performance, for example. And so I want to talk a little bit about those type of things when the cameras are involved, the live stream is involved. How does the presentation seamlessly move into almost a live production?
Yeah, and there's a couple of ways you could approach that, from a basic level to a more complex level. At a basic level, you could have a camera such as what we have right here, the PTZ camera, NDI into EasyWorship as a background feed, and then adjust your text to be a lower third, so that as the worship leader's on stage, we can follow him along on the displays, but also have the lyrics to follow along with the song that's being sang at the same time. Or you can take the cameras and feed them into another software, and like I said just a second ago, us as an alpha channel, to be overlaid so that you have an actual camera crew that is running the multiple cameras across the stage, so that you can take zoom shots and close shots and long shots and so forth. So there's, the output that you can create is the level at which you'd expect from a large venue production environment nowadays, with some pretty simple software and camera setups.
Yeah, and so we're talking a little bit about the live stream, but at the same time, and this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, is that there's that in-room audience as well.
Yes.
And of course, the in-room audience enjoys, for example, image magnification.
Yeah.
So we've got a big display right next to us here. So there's LED walls, there's giant projectors, there's televisions, and these displays are helping those who may be sitting in the back, getting these large views, larger than life views of the pastor or a band that's singing, really allowing the elderly, those who are, maybe eyesight, just to magnify what they can see there. And to enhance that experience, what you're talking about with the alpha channel layers is taking those great optically zoomed in shots, those larger than life shots on a big display, and maybe putting supporting alpha channel, meaning transparent except for maybe
just
the
the parts
text.
supporting the text, or even some alpha channel videos, which was a new feature that we released recently.
Tell us about that. That's interesting.
So, in the past, in order to do an alpha channel or a video that had some transparency, most people were using Apple ProRes. But the downside in Apple ProRes on a live environment such as ourselves is it's a large file to handle, and it takes a lot to run that file. So to be able to stack multiple ProReses or multiple variations of transparent videos would be very consuming of most churches' computer systems. So what we've done is we've allowed churches to compress those into a new technology of WebM file format that allow you to create alpha channel videos, to create animated looks of either content such as a welcome animation that you overlaid on top of your background before service, or even your church logo has some kind of animation on it that could be put down in the lower corner of your presentation. And you could add multiple variations of those on a presentation to give a very complex look, but it's just taking multiple different videos and text elements and backgrounds and put them together to build that final look. But yet it's all still dynamic content.
Wow. So churches have a lot of technical needs for this type of technology. Yet, as you mentioned, a lot of times it's run by a volunteer. So the kind of world that we're living in here is somebody like EasyWorship is helping to make the process easy enough for a volunteer, yet advanced enough to be able to integrate with live streaming software, to be able to display video on these large screens that churches need, and provide that really important presentation element all in one solution. So I just think that's incredible. We're here at the LiveU booth in South Upper, and I wanted to talk a little bit about why these are so popular for churches as well. And I wanted to talk about this because right now we're live streaming with this. And the reason why a lot of churches are doing that is if internet's an issue, or they don't have strong enough internet to live stream, that's where the LiveU Solo comes in.
Okay.
And the thing that I've been encouraging a lot of churches to think about is their outreach programs. So a lot of churches have missions to help their local community. Yet a lot of times that mission, everyone's giving funds for it, raising money to help the community, but it's not always shown when they go out and do what they've been raising. So with this type of unit, and we've actually showed that on this live stream, you saw we went from Central Hall to
walk it over here,
to
yeah.
South Hall, and we live stream the whole time. It's something that I think churches, if they're getting a good response with Facebook, and they're seeing that new members are joining, people are finding out about the church through live streaming, it's something to think about. Give your pastor the ability to go live into the local community outside of the four walls of the church. And you might be surprised what type of engagement you'll get when you go out into the community and show them what you're working on, whether it's a missionary outreach program,
outside of the building
and
itself.
you take it all outside the church.
When you could also bring this content into the presentation on that following service day, whether it's Sunday or Wednesday, and show the content and also integrate that into the actual presentation you're doing, that you may want to advertise or discuss what the outreach was, and so you can bring that content right in, because it's just recorded content at that point.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so much to talk about. I don't know if maybe we could talk to Claudia a little bit about her experiences. We talked a little bit about outreach programs.
What'd you do?
I love your necklace, by the way.
Thank you. Betsy Johnson, vintage, 1989. Vintage, just like me.
So, Claudia, we've been talking with EasyWorship, and we talked about some of the challenges that churches have working with volunteers. But also just trying to get the message out a lot of times, whether they have a missionary program, an outreach program. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about how houses of worship are working with your company as well.
So you hit the nail on the head. In a lot of cases, for bigger churches, they have budget or they have a full-time staff. But in most cases, it is volunteer, and it could be a different person using the gear on any given day. So the idea of being easy and an end-to-end solution is, look, it's important for any market, but specifically in this one for sure. I think we see a lot of that sometimes also in the government, believe it or not, for community outreach. It could be a different policeman that happens to be on duty at that time, and they have to be able to set it up and go live very, very quickly. So in that respect, that's why we're looking at things like our big broadcast solutions, and how can we put them into a more plug-and-play, ease of use solution, so they're getting the benefit of the technology without having to have a broadcast engineering degree. But also the fun aspect, which is you're not necessarily stuck to a fixed location. The ability to go out into the community or to go and reach people who can't come into a particular service or actually physically get to the location is super important, but also super cool. And it's a wonderful way to sort of expand the reach of your ministry and expand the connection that everybody can feel together.
Well, let me ask you about the fun aspect of it, because I'm such a big proponent of, if it's fun for you, you're gonna, the results, that engagement that you'll get online will be tremendously more than if it's not fun. And I think for churches specifically, the personality of the pastor is what people will connect with. And if we're talking about them going out to the community and showing them, maybe outside of the church for a moment, who is this pastor? Is it somebody who I connect with? I know my wife and I we were church shopping for a few years after we had moved, and it's really about the connection with the pastor. So we're able, I think, with live streaming to not only make it fun for the pastor, put him in a place where he's comfortable, but show his authentic self. And so it makes it fun, don't you think?
No, absolutely. I mean, look at what we're doing here too. There's an element of being able to bring what we're doing and what we're talking about to this at-home audience that would never come to a trade show like this. But it's the same thing. They may not know who I am. They hear LiveU, but me being able to do this more and more frequently actually makes a human side to a company, and it's the same thing for a particular parish. You're right. That pastor is the kind of representative of that vibe and that community and what goes on there, and to be able to bring that out, it's super cool and fun, especially if it's not just an actual service. Being able to go out, and when it's more of a fun event-based type thing, that's where you really see people's personality.
The children's community and so forth like that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, this was never possible before live, and it was a little bit, as little as 3 years ago, but it was on a cell phone. And that is not exactly the best image. And I'm sure you know too, you are a brand, you value how things look, and you want it to be the best possible quality, because people will tune out. you know, if it doesn't look good or sound good and they can't hear the message. So what's happened in the last couple of years with making the technology accessible and easier to use, I think has really been a benefit for, I don't want to say humanity, I don't want to get crazy right now, but it's really changed the way we can communicate as human beings with others.
Well, and then like you said, the smaller churches, they want to be able to build a presentation and a display and a projection that looks like these larger churches. And with today's technology, such as you guys and software like ourselves, we can provide them that without having to have the budgets or the staff, like you mentioned, in the larger churches. And to go with what you had said about to be able to bring this to an engaged community out on the internet, just like you did with WFX, be able to walk around with the camera and be able to allow people to experience what WFX is about without actually being at WFX, which is huge, to be able to actually experience something without having to make the travel or to be able to see multiple things at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll give a quick example, not to interrupt, but I will. We've done studio shows like this before, and usually we're traveling with a huge truck of gear and maybe about 10, 15 different people, and sometimes we even have people back home that are also doing stuff. This is the first year that we did it super light. Basically all of the gear fit in one Pelican, including the cameras, including the controller, including our little soundboard. So we basically did a pop-up studio. James is doing multiple cuts, you know, multiple camera angles. We are doing some fun stuff with audio when it works. No, I'm just teasing. No, we have a studio audience here, let's say, so we want to make sure they can hear what we're saying in addition to the home audience, and that makes it a little tricky at a trade show. But we literally have James sitting over here. He's new to our team, new to the LiveU team. He's great, but he had never used the PTZ cameras before. He has done a lot of production work in his 2 years of being out of college, but he hadn't used the TriCaster Mini before, and basically we set up on Sunday, and it was his first time using the PTZ controllers, and was able to basically set up this whole show, which is a little crazy. We've got guests showing up, sometimes not on time. We thought it would be one format, now it's another, and he's able to handle the whole thing almost single-handedly. Right, James? Come on. He doesn't even want to talk.
Which for churches, that's also valuable also because the people are coming as a volunteer, and there's not necessarily a highly trained staff. So you need somebody to be able to come in, pick up the products that are being used, and be able to put them in place and actually present something that is of quality.
And it is fun to be able to then go out and do that almost anywhere. So if there is a fair, or if there's a parade, or there's something like that going on, being able to pop up and do it. And then also elevate it a little bit with multiple camera angles, maybe a few graphics, things like that. It actually makes me want to watch longer when something's a little more dynamic.
Obviously key when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like churches have any lack of events that they're putting on.
No.
I mean, they are reaching out to the community on a daily basis, and I think that some people may think that churches are only on Sunday, and this can help churches really help people understand that they're open. You know, those doors are open Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's not just Sunday.
That's a really good point.
So we can help pastors change the entire perception in their community of what they're doing. And I think that's one of those things for pastors that they just have to get started. Because, you know, let's be honest, pastors are not technology people generally, right? And we
haven't noticed.
You haven't noticed, right? They have some volunteers. They're not generally tech people either. But to make it super simple for them to just have someone like Melissa here, who's following me around. She's got a little backpack and a little camera. She's following me around, and X amount of people online on Facebook and YouTube and different community, really social media community platforms are watching and tuning in. I just think for pastors, this is a home run kind of thing.
Because you don't want them to care about the technology. You want them just to be themselves, right? You know?
Yeah, and you want to be able to express your message throughout the week, like you said. It's not just Wednesday night 7 to 8 or 6 to 7, and Sunday morning, whatever service you attend then. But it actually is a week-long, potentially, you know, bits and pieces of the community and how they're interacting with it.
Yeah.
Super cool. Thank you for letting me crash in.
We're so happy you did. I don't know how much time we have left, but I think it would be kind of cool if we could we could switch back to the mobile and do like a little behind the scenes tour. Maybe?
Go for it. Yeah. James, Ben, Joyce, be ready.
Would you guys be okay with that?
They're gonna switch to
Can we do
IRL style.
one more IRL and just show the behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just have to call my producer and just tell him to do that.
See, this is remote production right here.
That's how easy it actually is.
I just have to hit this button here. But it's been so much fun. We've been Tess has been involved at that studio, and then there's this studio.
I'm just so glad you guys are here. It makes it really fun because it kind of shows how you can actually like just interact and crash each other's activity, and it's fun.
It makes the world small.
It does.
It makes
it
the world
does.
small.
Especially at a show like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does
when
create
you
a
realize the
moment
world
of
is very
intimacy.
big when you get here.
Can we switch back to the IRL stream with Melissa?
They're going to switch back to Melissa.
Cool. All right. So now we can take you guys on another mobile stream to see behind the scenes.
Yes. It doesn't matter because it's all going to get picked up. It doesn't matter because it's all going to get picked up by her mic right now. Yeah.
That noise was actually me. Did you know that my water in there?
It wasn't. It was him. He was trying to.
That's why I set my water here because I was like, if I set it back down, it's going to cause that hum.
We really have been trying to mess with the sound here because it's so hard.
Hey, Paul.
Before people got here.
Hey, Paul. From Facebook, will they be at the streaming meetup?
Will LiveU be at the streaming meetup? We have a streaming meetup at happy hour at our booth from 4 to 8 tonight if you want to stop by.
We can definitely make sure. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Do I
at our
put
booth.
My flats on?
It's the central flats.
I gotta put my flats on.
All right, it's on us.
All right, well, let's show you guys a little behind-the-scenes tour. So the cameras you were just looking at are the PTZ Optics cameras here. It looks like they're connected via STI and Ethernet. And I don't know, Joyce, if you can show us a little bit.
Hello, how are you guys?
That's all. I don't know if you can just tell us a little bit about what you're doing here.
Sure. So we got the TriCaster Mini here. We got 3 PTZ cameras set up.
And you're switching with them just like that, huh?
Yep.
I didn't even see you got one up in the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, look, it's all the way up there.
Zoom in.
Very cool.
My 2 days of training here.
Oh, excuse me?
On the PTZ ops. It's pretty awesome. It's really awesome. And we got our mixer board for our mics. Our solo back here streaming. And the controller. That's pretty much it. It's really awesome.
So, that's it, guys.
The Optics IRL, like put one of those on his shoulder.
No. Well, I looked like what was that Terminator movie? Like,
I want a PTZ Optics head that's a PTZ camera.
That's just great, though. I love the quality. It looks amazing. Thank you for watching, everybody. We're going to switch back to Tess, and she's going to end off the show at our other studio. So it's just really fun stuff. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it.
They didn't cut over.
All right, well, I guess call and ask him to switch it?
I don't know if it went through.
Well, the show's over now, I think.
Yeah, because then when Joyce reshares it, do you have a card on you? When she reshares it, we can actually use your photo.
Because it's still going on this end.
Excuse me? Yeah, I think I have. I try, I'm on social media, but I try to stay. I'm in the technology world, so I understand I say that I feel like that.
How you doing?
Look at her. Look at her.
I'm tired.
She's
Day two.
She's actually
Trying to cut over. No.
Not that you're not also.
It's okay. It's all right. I got you.